Welcome to part two. We're just waiting for Michael to join us. I want to ask Michael about mind games. So a lot of people keep saying to me, Tyson Fury is playing mind games with Usyk in the fight. So I'll ask Michael. Michael, welcome to part two. A couple of people have been asking me regarding Tyson Fury mind games and saying the win's already in the bag and blah blah blah. Do you think there's a lot of mind games going on at the moment with Fury saying Usyk's a bad guy and this and that and blah blah blah, bigging him up? Do you think he's trying to soften him up and make his win look fantastic if he does beat him?
Yeah, I think that is kind of a bit true. I do agree with some of it. I think some of them are a bit, if not beaten before they go into the ring, a bit like not on their top game because they're a bit wary of him and the way that he goes on about it and all the gypsy stuff. And you know what I mean? I just think there's a few fighters that have got a bit psyched out by him before they start. Um, and the ones that don't. Like, I know this is a bad example, but like, see that John McDermott, do you know when they first fought? He won, I thought, the very first fight.
Yeah, I
They
do.
are. He didn't seem to care whether he was a gypsy, whether he was this, whether he was that. He's just the type of bloke that eats McDonald's and goes for a scrap and doesn't give a shit. That John McDermott, do you know what I mean? And the ones that, if you name the fighters that don't take all the crap in before the fight, they do better against him than the ones that you can clearly tell do. Like Klitschko, I know he was old, but like he didn't fight like he normally does. He looked like a rabbit in the headlights when they had a fight because he it was like he'd got into his head with all the stuff he'd said. Usyk's not going to get like that. I don't think he gives a toss what he says.
He's not really bothered, is he? He's Usyk's seen every style, really, hasn't
Yeah, but he's trying. You can tell he's trying. He's swapped it all up now and gone, oh, he's brilliant and he's this and he's that. And he spent months trying to bully him. But do you know what? I think that's the other way around now. The fact that Fury's having to do this and big Usyk up and say this and be all nice about him, I think he's realised that telling him he's an ugly rabbit and everything else that he said's not working. So now he's trying something else. So because I've never ever saw 2 weeks before a fight Tyson Fury telling a bloke how good he is. Have you? Never?
he? No, no. Listen, he's acting out of character. In my opinion, I'd be
Yeah.
very, very, very surprised if it even happens this fight. I
I
would,
still don't think it will.
well, we're going to say I'll be very, very shocked. Squeak! I can hear the squeaks from now. And what's his dad say about people? His arsehole's flapping like that. Well, let me tell you this: Fury's arsehole is flapping because this is the best guy he's been in with. And when you look at Fury's CV, who on that CV has he Fury beat that Usyk wouldn't annihilate? Who? Well, Vladimir, he'd already done him before he turned pro. He'd done him after Olympics, didn't he, Vladimir? In sparring,
Mm.
knocked him about.
There's nobody. There's absolutely nobody.
Okay, I just think that all these mind games, like Usyk's a real bad guy and there's this, is that, and I'm like, wow, that's so out of character for Tyson, isn't it, to come out with that? So
Yeah.
he usually abuses them, doesn't he, to death?
That's saying more about Fury's mindset than Usyk's, in my opinion. I think he's, like I just said, I think he's tried everything he can. He's tried to bully him. He's called him an ugly rabbit. He's took the mick out of him. He said absolutely everything. It's done nothing, and now he's thinking, well, I'll try something else. But the fact that he's having to do that means Usyk's winning, in my opinion.
Yeah, I see where you're coming from. I see exactly where you're coming from. So who you got then? Usyk on points?
Yeah, Usyk on points or potential maybe, and people will laugh at this, but because Wilder didn't stop him, Usyk won't. But Usyk will land 3 times the amount of punches that Wilder did. So I think it'll be like points or even late stoppage between 9 and 12.
You mean like overwhelming him with
Yeah,
looks, not,
not
not
like a
like not
knockout.
like a knockout? Yeah. Well, I'm going to go for the knockout in my bet. I'm going to go for Usyk, 50 quid, knockout. Well, what round? Usyk by knockout.
Yeah, I reckon like a volume amount of punches rather than like a one punch bang out kind of thing. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Uh, Crusher Ben. He's calling out Boots Ennis. He called him out a couple of months ago. Ryan Garcia, you name it, he's calling him out. Now, Eddie Hills has signed Boots Ennis now, Jaron Ennis. Why don't they just get it on? Crusher Ben against Jaron Ennis in America. But we're not seeing the same energy. From the same stable, there's no reason why Boots Ennis cannot fight Crusher Ben in America. So why is Eddie Hills not putting it on? Because Crusher were calling him out, wasn't he? Now
Unless
we've gone silent. What? You what, Crusher? Crusher, what did you say? Exactly. You've gone silent.
unless he's absolutely on drugs to the eyeballs, there's absolutely no chance he beats Jaron Ennis. No way.
No. And let me tell you this, if Conor Ben fails another dope test, who's going to take him on? Nobody wants that smoke if they've got a lot of money behind them, does it? Do they really?
No. But there's no way he can beat him. Absolutely not a chance.
Mike Tyson against Jake Paul. What do you think to that, Michael? It's a pro fight now.
I don't understand how it can be a pro fight. I know this is like anal and everyone's like, oh, but like, how can you have a professional fight with 14-ounce gloves on? That's not what the rules are.
8 2-minute rounds.
2-minute rounds in a man's fight. That's not what the rules are either. 14-ounce gloves. I don't know. Like, I think Jake Paul will absolutely hammer him, I do. But like, yeah. I mean, I know he's a fighter and all this, but like, he's nearly six. Is he 60 or is he nearly 60?
He's getting on for that. Well, if it were 20 in 86, right? 20 in 86, right? So
So he's 38. So he's 58.
58, isn't
Yeah.
he? 58
That's like, you know what I mean? If I played football against a bloke who was 58 now that used to be a professional football player, I still think I'd give him a good run round the field if he was 58. Do you know what I mean? Imagine putting a tackle in on a bloke who's 58. I don't care if you've played for like Villa or whatever. Like, do you know what I mean? There's that age for a reason, isn't there? Like, if Mike Tyson hits Jake Paul, I've seen some of the like pad work and bag work and all that. If Mike Tyson hits Jake Paul, fair enough. But you've got to understand, and I know it's not the same. I do get that it's not the same, but a year ago he was fighting Tyron Woodley at the UFC. Now I know it's a UFC and this is boxing and it's totally different. But that Tyron Woodley was a tough bloke, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Like he'd had scraps in the UFC. He was a multiple defense champion of the world in the UFC and all this. And he was 30 odd years of age. Jake Paul had a fight with him. So it's not like Jake Paul can't take a punch and doesn't know what he's doing.
Yeah.
He can have a scrap, obviously. And he ironed him out. Like, you imagine punching a 60-year-old bloke? Like, you're going to knock him out, aren't you? Do you know what I mean? He's 60. I'm not bothered about what. I'm not saying Mike Tyson can't do some damage to Jake Paul still, but I'm on about if anybody 15 stone punch Mike Tyson and they're 30 years of age, it's going to hurt him. And he's a granddad.
Mm. You know, this Jake Paul and Mike Tyson thing that's going to go on the Box Rex. I personally think that the commissioners who are sanctioning it have just been greased. They must have been given.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
It'll be a loss on Mike's record, but if Jake gets the win, it'll go on his record. So I think it's in bad taste, absolute bad taste. But hey ho, oh, get it. What's happening here? Oh, sorry, what happened there? So, do you think Mike Tyson and Jake Paul fighting will open the floodgates for people like Gordon Ramsay and Big John Fury, big fighting man, in the ring or on the hard road? MI5 are not watching me from the moon. I made it all up. Pop, pop, bang. Do you think Big John Fury will want to get in on action if Jake Paul and Mike are at it? What do you think?
I think John Fury would do anything for a pound note. Absolutely anything.
Do you?
Yeah.
Do you, Mike? Would you fight in Michael Cage?
John Fury. He'd absolutely smash me in, to be honest. He's massive compared to me, but I'd just do it for a laugh, I would, to be honest. I don't care, do I? I'd fight Tyson Fury in a boxing match just to, even if he absolutely knocked me clean out in a round, just to do it. Like, I don't care. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, get it on.
Do you know how many emails? Do you know how many emails I get saying to me, "Porky, what are you going to do if you bump into John Fury at a show?" Do you know what I reply to them? Zero. I don't reply to them, so I'm going to do it today because I keep getting them all the time. If I see Big John Fury at a show and I walk straight up to him, I'm going to give him a big cuddle, I'm going to give him a big kiss on the side of his face and say, "Porky loves you." See what he says then when you see me flying through air like that.
I'll do a couple of more of these MMA fights and start calling out 75-year-old MMA veterans.
It's never ending, Michael, isn't it? Absolutely never ending. Does boxing need a winner from Usyk versus Fury, the undisputed? It's 25 years since
Yes.
we've had it. If it had gone 25 years since Man United beat Bayern Munich in Champions League, if it's 25 years since we had a Champions League winner, there'd be riots on the street, wouldn't there? Do we
Mm,
need a winner, Usyk Fury, a clear winner, not a dodgy decision? Do we need a clear winner?
yeah.
Yes or no? Yeah.
That's why I don't really massively like the whole rematch thing. They've got the rematch set up for September. Now, you just imagine, like, they should have a rematch clause in place, and it should say something like, if the ending is controversial or ends on a cut or something like that, then there will be a rematch, not just a flat out default rematch anyway.
Mm.
So obviously, it's unlikely to happen. Like if there's somebody that clearly wins the first fight, like hands down, shutout, 12 rounds to nil or whatever, and they
Mm.
have a rematch, and then the other person wins the rematch, then we're back to where we were now. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I see where you're coming from, Matt. I see where you're
The
coming from. So,
worst result for this from boxing is 1-1 out the two fights.
you
You
think?
need whoever wins the fight to win the second one as well, so that we have a clear, defined champion that is the best. Do you know what I'm saying? Because in my opinion, if you have two fights and it's 1-1, then it's just the same as the fight didn't happen, and it's a draw. Like you're both the same as each other again, all back over again.
Yeah. They'll have, if it's one each, they'll have a trilogy. What do you think about these rematches in place? Do you think that clogs up the belts, Michael?
Yeah. Well, obviously they're going to have to vacate one of the belts, aren't they? So the IBF belt after this fight will become vacant, and it'll be whoever wins out of Daniel Dubois and Hergovich will end up fighting AJ for the IBF belt. That's what's going to happen, isn't it? But I just think like, oh, there's too many belts anyway, and they shouldn't have four belts anyway. Really, that's my opinion. But like the UFC, you get better fights because they've got one belt.
Yeah.
So you don't end up with like some bloke who's like really probably the 10th or 11th best in the world with a world title because they just don't do it. They all fight the next bloke in front and they all know the script and that's what they've got to do. Here in boxing, you end up with people here fighting for world titles that, do you know what I mean? Like,
It disvalues the sport when you've got people who can just muscle in, who don't deserve it, and they're not deserving of the chance. There's kids I see who are 10 and 12, 13 and 0. They're not going to get their just rewards because other people are like hogging limelight, aren't they? It has a knock-on effect, you know. You people like Jake Paul and Mike Tyson fighting. Because what about all them kids that put the time in as amateurs? Where do they stand now? They're not getting the limelight, are they? When you've got your Floyd Mayweathers and all the rest of them, you know, on bandwagon. That's
yeah.
how I see it. But I think
So,
Fury, if Fury wins, what will it? He'll never leave us all along with about his CV, won't he? If Fury wins. But Usyk's CV is better, in my opinion. He's the better boxer, so I'm going to go with Usyk. The Fury fanatics won't like that. I don't care if you've got a problem. Not hard to find. Come see me. Instead of sending me crying emails. Oh, Bogey, Fury's the best. Why? What? Sorry. What has Fury shown us to suggest he's the greatest heavyweight of all time? When you've got 4 wins over champions, and you've got people like Lennox Lewis, Ali. They've got like 4 and 5 times more, and Vladimir and all the rest of them. They've got better CVs. Uh, I want to see Tyson Fury in with somebody with a heartbeat. The last hard fight he had with Wilder. Am I right?
yeah.
Since then, he's done zero. So it'll catch up with him on the 18th of May. We want him to get home safe to his family though afterwards. But I think Usyk will ruin him like he has Big Meat. Do you?
Yeah.
Good man. What's your top five pound for pound, Michael? I know we don't get you on that much, and I know it fluctuates by the day.
Well, after Monday, there's a new number one
Oh,
in Uwe.
yeah, you're gonna go for a new eight. What about
I
number
thought
two?
he was. I thought that was amazing on Monday. I thought he was. Well, he got dropped as well, and it was a big punch he didn't see coming by a big puncher, and he got all boxed really well, and then absolutely took him to pieces. So we go Inoue, Crawford,
Usyk.
Inoue, Crawford,
Peter B.
Usyk, Inoue, Crawford, Usyk, Bivol.
Bivol.
Yeah, you've said this every time I say it, but yeah,
Wait, you want to stink? You love Bivol, you don't you?
he's he's never lost. His
Yeah.
record's decent. His resume's better than Beterbiev's. I said this last time. I said even though I think Beterbiev would win the fight based off styles make fights, Bivol's never been caught doing being a drug cheat. He's not 39 years of age and getting stronger and stronger by the day, even though he's 39 years of age. He's not having elevated levels going back in his tests and all that kind of stuff. So, and I think right this second, even though Beterbiev's knocked out every opponent he's faced, on the records, Bivol's got better wins.
What about Bam Bam Rodriguez then?
Uh, yeah, I'd have him at probably about number seven. I
Yeah.
wouldn't put him in the top five. So we've got Inoue, Crawford, Usyk, Bivol, and I don't really know, to be honest. Probably still Canelo five, to be honest, because I don't really
J.O.
like him.
What about J.O. Patia? What do you think to him, Michael?
Yeah, but he's only got one standout win, hasn't he? He's got Maris Bradis. That's his only real standout win. And I know he's good, and I think he is the absolute best at cruiserweight, but he's literally got one standout win in a fight that if you watch that fight, which is an amazing fight, by the way, it was like a life or death ding donger. It was like, do you know what I mean? And Maris Brady's, he's slightly past his prime and lost his head now, getting Jake Paul tattooed on him and all this kind of stuff. I just think, like, if you're an all-time pound for pound type of guy like that,
Killer.
and your only standout win is against a bloke that is over the edge and it was a 50-50 ding-dong fight, like, I don't know if I'd have him in the top five right now.
Okay. What did you think to Canelo and Munguia?
I thought Canelo is on the slide,
Yeah, I do.
aging. I think that's been evident for a few fights now. I was at the John Ryder fight in Mexico, went over there for a jolly up, and he could have stepped. How John Ryder can have a broken nose from the third round onwards in 60,000 people in that heat in that stadium that we were all in Guadalajara and doesn't get knocked out. I don't care how fit or how tough you are. If you're lasting 9 rounds in that heat with a broken nose and you can't breathe against him, someone's on the slide because he should be knocking people out.
He should. He doesn't seem to stop these guys, does he, at that weight, does he?
No.
He's not carried his power up from super welter.
No, so I don't think so. He's either getting old or not carried his power up. I thought he carried that Munguia. I thought Munguia was like, how do you say it? Like getting to points was a good result for him. That's
Yeah,
what I think.
yeah. Okay. Boxing monitor lizards in the sport of boxing at the moment. Can you name me five monitor lizards?
I don't even know what a monitor lizard even is.
A monitor lizard is a lizard with a long tongue, an arse licker, in other words. Do you want me to go
Johnny
first?
Nelson. Johnny Nelson.
No, I don't think Johnny is no more. I think Johnny's his own man now. I'm Team Johnny. Team Horsecock.
Who else? Spencer Oliver.
Spencer Oliver. No, I'm not going to go with Spencer Oliver. I'm half Spencer Oliver at the moment. I'm half
No.
of him. He's calling out drug cheats still. He's stuck to his guns with Crusher Ben, hasn't he? So he's had to set his stall, hasn't he? So he's not a honest lizard, no.
Coogan.
Coogan, yes. Coogan, put your tongue away. Going to the bell end, that's two.
Yeah. Who else? Gareth.
Bombay Dave.
Gad.
The Gad.
Yeah, Gad.
Bombay Dave.
Who else we got?
Darren Barker. Embarrassing him, isn't he?
Ben Shalom.
Oh, Adrian Mole. Adrian!
Yeah.
Come see me. You know it makes sense. I've got milk, baby.
So they're the ones. That's my list.
But guns aren't packing up moment, Mike. I'll knock any of these mofos out. Look at them.
You've been having so many eggs, haven't you, apparently?
I'm on egg diet. 2 eggs in my shake a day to try and get some weight on. It's only protein I can get in me. Okay, we've had a dig at monitor lizards and that, and the sport's full of them, innit? I saw the Gad at BKB, sat with my pal Robin Reed. Robin, what
Yeah.
you him there? But apparently they outed him, didn't they? After the first fight, they were hell on apparently. So I don't know if they're going to have him back. So Gad, stick to boxing, all right? Stick to boxing, all right? Try to muscle in on other people's action. Do you know what I mean? How is it these Fleet Street print media guys? They end up working at Fleet Street after all them years at university, and they take piss out people like me for doing this. While we're at Dennis's, it used to, what's he doing? That porky, mighty mouth. He's on YouTube. He's this. He's that. Blah blah blah. Well, you're eating off same plate as me, Gad. All right, but I don't have to be a monitor lizard to get into that position. I just think they should just stick to what they know. Print media. But print media is dying on its arse, isn't it? That's why you've got people like Colin Aware-Mori's Wig Hart, bouncing about at these shows. Print media from newspaper. Why don't these dinosaurs jog on? That's what I want to know. Jog. I don't know, but hey ho. Women's boxing. Eddie's let Chantel Cameron go. She's signed with Bricktop. Do you think Eddie's done that to appease Katie Taylor, or do you think they're going to make a 5 versus 5 women's event in Saudi? Yes or no?
It's a bit of a difficult one, really, because he never really seemed to do a fantastic job for Chantel Cameron, to be honest. Like, he didn't push her the same way that he pushes the rest of his fighters and pushes Katie Taylor and that. And to me, it seemed like he signed her. And if Katie Taylor, he knows that Chantel Cameron's good. I'm not saying good for women's boxing. Like, she's not like amazing, is she? But with the competition about at the moment, she's good. So she's one of the top 10 in women's boxing that can actually fight. Like, do you know what I mean? What we've said, that there's only a certain few. So he basically, to me, it seemed like he signed her, hoping that Katie Taylor would beat her. And then he would still promote Chantel Cameron and do a really good job for her to make Katie Taylor's win seem better.
Yeah.
But when she beat Katie Taylor, it ripped up the script and he didn't really know what to do. And he seemed a bit like bitter and jealous over it, really. And because Chantel Cameron did an interview saying that she'd never spoke to Eddie Earn and that even before the rematch, they don't talk and he just talks to her team, which I thought was a bit bizarre, really.
Spotty Frank deals with them all, doesn't it? Unless it's a superstar, then Eddie likes to ring them, doesn't it?
So that was that one. But I do think now that Frank's got her, that I think it'll be something part of that 5v5 in the next one in aren't they doing a 5v5 at Wembley in September?
Yeah, that's what they're saying. They're saying Joshua
Mm.
might be fighting on that as well, aren't they?
Because they wouldn't put the 5v5 with the women's in Saudi, would they? Because
They don't like that, do they, over
uh,
there?
so
Do you think Joshua will fight at Wembley, or do you think they're just paying lip service? Because at the moment, everything's all hinging on this Usyk Fury fight, isn't it, really?
I think they're trying to find out who wins on the undercard. I think Joshua v Dubois at Wembley will be all right. I don't think they'll massively sell Joshua v Hrgovic because nobody really knows him, do they? And you look at the last couple of fights he fought in Saudi a couple of times, once against Ngannou and once against what's his name now? Otto Wallin.
Yeah.
So you can't really just keep wheeling out people that the public don't really know, but the British public know a bit more who Dubois is. So I think if he does beat Hrgovic, that will happen, I do.
Well, listen, do you know Anthony Joshua, since Usyk turned him on his head twice, winning about 21 rounds out of 24, do you feel that Franklin and then so Franklin, sorry, Elenius, Wallin, or Wallin, Elenius, whatever, but he sparred both of them, and then Ngannou in his second fight. That's a load of pish for Eddie to be shouting about Joshua's back. Who was he fought? Two of them four guys were sparring partners. The other one was an unknown Franklin, that went the distance, and the other one was his second fight as a pro boxer. How is Anthony Joshua back where he belongs after that run of waste bin men?
No idea, to be honest. I do think that the heavyweight division, though, once you get past the first three or four, there's not really that much there, really.
No, no, it ain't. Do you think Ergovic can count himself maybe a touch unlucky to be parked up, waiting and waiting and waiting? A bit like Joe Joyce would have been. That's why Joe Joyce had to have a fight, because if Ergovic loses to Dubois, he's lost his mandatory slot because he's been waiting that long, hasn't he? He got to earn, haven't they?
I would agree with what you're saying. Yes. In the terms of the fact that the fights he's won, he should have already had a shot. I get that. But I thought he lost to Zhang. So then, therefore, you can't call someone unlucky that lost, can you? So
Well, it's
if
robbery, isn't
if you
it?
just go by that he won, then yeah, fair enough, he's been unlucky. But the fact that I thought he lost, then it cancels it out a bit, doesn't it?
What,
Do
do
you
you
know what I
think
mean?
Ergovic lost against Zhang?
Yeah,
Yeah, I do. But it's on his record as a loss, but we all thought he won, didn't we?
yeah.
You thought
So
Zhang beat him, didn't you?
yeah,
Well, Zhang's more or less done now, isn't he? He's an old man pushing 42. He's just been schooled by Parker, hasn't he?
yeah.
So Zhang's not on everybody's lips like he were. And Ergovic, well, if you sat next to him on a plane, you'd be like, God, I've got to sit next to you for 5 hours. You know, you're not going to get a peek out of him, are you?
The thing with that Zhang, I don't understand. It's like his coaches that are watching the fight can't see what everybody else is looking at. We can all see that you've got 6 rounds in you and then you're knackered. That's it, game over, you're gone. So when you're dropping Joseph Parker twice in rounds 1 and 3 or whatever it was early in the fight, they've got to be telling you, get this man out of here now because you can't you can't carry on. Once it goes past the 6th round, he's gone, like finished.
Mm. Yeah.
I don't know. I don't, that's my opinion.
Dillian White, the can man. Anybody who wants it can get it. What's happening with him? The
He
silent
will still get a big
holding.
fight, he will. Somebody will sign him up for a big fight, but it'll be for like somebody coming up, like an up and coming heavyweight that they want to get Dillian White's name attached to. Because he's going to be finished now, and he just got ironed out by Fury, sent all the way across the ring at Wembley. He looked like a pub fighter in that rematch, in the comeback fight he had. The little clips, I haven't seen the whole fight, but I've seen a few clips of it against that Christian Hammer, and he looked like he was on the car park, to be honest.
2 seconds.
So
Yeah.
I just think he's finished now, totally finished. Won't ever be anywhere near again. Don't even think he was world class in the first place, anyway.
Yeah.
But I just think
We'll see.
he will still get a big fight against an up and coming guy like.
Look who we've got here. Come on, you're all right. So let's see.
How you doing, you all right?
How doing, Paul? You all right?
I see the convertible outside. I thought it must be you. You've been slumming it, haven't you, around here today?
It is me, yeah.
Michael.
Michael, you all right, mate?
Hey, mate, yes, how do you?
Yeah, not too
It's
bad.
big R's here on patrol, eh? Flash up the camera. Where you get this from?
Can't remember.
What, wait, are you back now for a bit, yeah?
Yeah.
Looking well, son.
Get in there.
We're just on about, what were we on about, Michael?
Dylan White.
Dylan White. What's happening with Dylan White, Richard?
Going downhill fast.
He's hanging on
Yeah.
to life, isn't he, really?
Yeah.
That's pretty much what I was saying. He's gone.
Yeah. We're going to have a game of pool after this and nearly finish,
Yeah, why not? Yeah.
Give a thrashing. The heavyweight division, did you see Yui come back? I know you'll give Yui a bit of stick, don't you? Because he's been in that,
Yeah.
but Yui fights this Saturday on Sky. It's not a brilliant opponent, but you feel like Yui's got to start again, Michael?
Yeah, well, the last guy you should be stopping. Obviously, that's what you said. He made his excuses up until he wants the rounds. So then this guy, you've got to stop him then, haven't you? You've had your rounds last time, a few weeks ago. So you've got to stop this guy then.
Yeah. Well, it's one of them things, isn't it? It's quite tough. He's had an MMA fight, Michael.
Oh, yeah?
Debut, yeah.
That's what weight are you? Middleweight?
Yeah, 12 stone 8 I was. It's different weights in UFC. It's all done by kilos, and in MMA, it's all done by kilos anyway. But
Is that
I was
like heavyweight, that?
it'd be middleweight, wouldn't it? Whatever there's 170 something. Theirs is welterweight, I think it is. Welterweight, 170. Middleweight's
Is that what they call it?
Yeah,
How did you get on?
What?
yeah. One.
Knockout?
Nah, points. The guy was boring. He didn't really want to have a fight, but well, we're having a rematch, so I'll knock him spark out in the rematch.
What's your major discipline? Striking, ground game, what?
Yeah. I don't know how to wrestle. I've got no idea, to be honest. So we'll just stick to the ground, stick to the standing bits.
Yeah, well, keep working on everything, mate. Otherwise, you'll get found out eventually. But I'm sure you know.
Yeah, I know.
He don't want to look like Max, does he?
No, he looks fit.
Max can actually fight, but he's never fit, you know. It's the only thing that lets him down, because if you carry him 3 stone too much, you can't get out of weight punches, and you can't on your punches. It's not rocket science, is it? You know yourself, don't you, Michael? That's how I look at
I'll
it.
tell you what. Since I won that MMA fight, my inbox has been absolutely full.
I know you showed me it. You want to see pictures keeps getting sent, but we'll not talk about that.
Well, every single.
You're single, aren't you, Michael?
Yeah.
Well, make the most of it.
There's two women that don't think I'm single, but the rest of them do.
Go on.
I said there's 2 women that don't think I'm single, but the rest of them think I am.
Hey, Michael, listen, if you can milk it while you can, mate. That's what you do. If it gets you a chick, you'll be happy, won't you?
You were glued to my phone, weren't you?
So your inbox is full. Your inbox is full.
Yeah.
How many are men?
None.
Russell can back me up on that one.
Listen, mate, he's punching way above his weight since he's had his MMA debut.
Nice one. Good luck to you, mate. Hope you go on onwards and upwards.
Make sure you don't end up becoming a dad, mate, because he'll hit you in your pocket.
No chance.
All right, then. Well, listen, we're going to get off, Michael, and have a game of pool. But listen, you take care.
Nice one.
Keep in touch, and I'll probably see you Saturday then, yeah?
Yeah. Sam, mate, all the best. See you later.
Cheers, mate.
Nice to meet you.
Bye.
And you. See ya.
Well, that was Michael from West Brom. Women love him. Men want to be him. All right. Everybody have a great week. Pop, pop, bang. Peace out. You know what to say, Richard?
Pop, pop, bang.
MI5 are watching me from the moon.